Hey, Coach, so excited you found us on YouTube. Let me help you through this great journey we call coaching. I've done this for 30 years. You can see, won a lot of championships, won a lot of basketballs, but let me help you through this journey. Go over and click above, click down below at teachhoops.com, and we will help you through this. One-on-one calls, office hours, more resources than I can even describe. So go over and check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Enjoy the video. All right, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can. Where are you located?
In Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Okay, because it's nasty today here. So
It's like one of the rare beautiful days. We've had like 8 rainy days out of 10.
yeah, it's been weird. I just talked to my brother. He lives in New Hampshire, and he was saying that he was heading north, and he said it was nice too. It's like hit or miss. I think this time of year.
Yeah. This is like that awkward time. We don't know if it's gonna be good or bad, and it can turn at any point in time. PA at least.
It was a good day to be in the gym. I was in the gym with the boys this morning, so it was a good day to do that. So
Yeah. See, this is like we had a tournament earlier this morning, so we were over there, and kids are complaining because all they wanted to do was be outside.
right, the one good day. I know. All right, shoot away, Coach.
Okay, so sorry, I've got a 2-year-old and my dog is running around out here.
That's right.
So I have a team that I'm in a rural district.
Okay.
That is in like right south of Harrisburg. So in PA.
Okay.
Harrisburg, 83 sector when you're going on your way down to Baltimore. So
Okay.
right between Baltimore and Harrisburg, and so it's like a mixture of city schools and rural schools, and we are in like that in between enrollment for boys. So we play half the city schools, half the rural schools.
Okay.
So,
and you're in the middle, and you're in the middle as far as enrollment goes.
Yeah. So,
okay.
So we're an average school.
Okay.
And before we were playing we were the smallest 5A school. So there's 6 classifications in PA now.
Okay.
We're the smallest 5A school. So now we're like a middle of the pack 4A school. So it's okay. Like it's.
And which is the biggest schools? 1A or
6A?
6A. Okay. Okay.
So this past year we were stuck with a couple of bigger schools that we shouldn't have been on our schedule. But I've done a lot of work in getting gimme games. Nothing's a gimme game, but you know what I mean.
No, I get it. I mean, I was just talking to a coach yesterday about you need some of those because you can work your tweaks out. Yeah.
And so we're typically a soccer school.
Okay.
And a girls sports school, which is odd. Dynamic coming from a pretty successful high school in a different part of PA.
Okay.
So we have not historically been a very successful basketball program. I took over 2 years ago, right before the season started, like the week of tryouts.
Okay.
So that was like the wash, not a wash year, but trial by fire kind of thing.
Right.
Last year we had a freshman and a sophomore start, and the freshman is very good. And then we only graduated 12 points. So not the 12 points grows on trees, but I've got some shooters coming up.
Right.
That we really worked hard with. So we struggled last year, but again, we took positive lumps, if there is such a thing.
Yeah.
I really worked hard on community, on togetherness, on that family aspect.
Yep.
The last 2 years, I was assistant under the coach that was previously there, and I love the guy to death, but he didn't value that as much. And as I looked back and I watched what it was, it's amazing when you're inside the box, you don't see it, and then you get outside of it, and
right.
You do. So either way, I worked hard with our.
Are you coaching boys or girls? Remind me.
Boys.
Boys. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got a good coordination of youth program now.
Okay.
Before it wasn't a hard sell, but I used to be a teacher in the district, and now I'm a instructional coach. So I can be anywhere. I can be in the high school. I can be in the elementary schools. So I've got connections that way. So I've really worked hard on the capacity building. I talked with the local YMCA to get kids doing stuff in there, and just getting people wanting to play kids wanting to play basketball.
Right. At a very young age is important. Yes.
Yeah. So I was blessed to have a freshman group that's pretty decent. and one very good. So I had two very good freshman players. One ended up being a freshman for IMG this year,
Okay.
and then the other one stuck around. So I had to find that balance of um, centering a lot around him with not a whole lot else, and not alienating everybody.
Right.
And I would give myself a C on
Okay.
that. But I built the community part of it. But there comes a time where
Is he receptive to it?
to which part?
To the like making everyone around him better?
Yes. So Jalen. So his name is Jalen. He as good of a scorer as he is. He's a better passer.
Okay.
And the issue lied this year is they didn't have anybody. He had one kid he could pass to that he could rely on scoring.
Right.
And so we're an average athletics basketball program. So I've really focused on shooting.
Right.
I listened to your stuff and I had the similar thought. If you're not very athletic, you got to be able to shoot the ball because at least you can equalize.
Well, and I think you got to can you push the ball? Can you push the ball to get some easy shots in transition?
Yes. So we did three things this year. We really worked on transition offense.
Okay. Is he a point? Is he a point guard? Is the kid a point guard?
He's a point guard.
Okay.
Yeah. So we really worked on transition, pushing the ball, getting everything out. We really worked on shooting, both in the open court and in half court. And we really worked on like a variety of different defenses. Like I know if you're not good at a lot of things, but we needed to throw junk at people, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And my first year, I was too stubborn to admit that. And I tried saying, we're going to be a man team. We're going to do nothing but man, nothing but man, nothing but man. And, that wasn't what
That's not the real work. The problem is you're not going out and recruiting the kids. You can do that if you're like recruiting the kids, but high school kids don't adjust well to change either. I like the idea of the transition a lot with what you're doing in the sense that I can get it out of his hand and then he can get it back. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would spend some. Do you have contact days in the summer?
Yeah. So in Pennsylvania, you can do anything as long as you don't make it mandatory.
Okay.
And as long as you don't keep score in like a practice setting, which we wouldn't anyways.
Right.
Especially in the summer. So he is, one of the few kids that is trying to play live period in July. So to be honest, I'm fighting the battle of he wants the attention of what this kid that went to IMG had. So, Jalen knows he's very good and he's a great kid.
Right. Right.
So, he keeps talking about he's going to go to this prep school or that prep school. And I've talked with him and his dad about you have the opportunity to affect change in this community.
Right.
Think of Warrior basketball.
Right.
Think of Jalen Franklin.
Right.
And I'm finding that balance of ego boosting and
yeah, it's balanced. And if you're good, they're going to find you. So go play in the open window. You should go play in the open window. I agree.
That's what I said to him. And Zion Williamson. Now, granted, it was a prep school. He made everybody. He made Jalen and everybody else feel good because he could have went anywhere and he stayed at that small school and did those different things. And like other guys have done that. We Lonnie Williams, Lonnie Walker,
right?
Is Reading, which is right an hour from us.
Right.
But Lonnie, granted, Reading's a powerhouse of basketball. He made everybody feel good about that. So Jalen's going to go play in July and do the live period thing, and that's what he should do. And
right.
I said, I need you in June. In June, I need you to be with us. We have got our youth camp. We have a summer league. We're going to team camp. We're going to do some things that way.
So I mean, everything you're doing is good. I mean, I'm going to give you like an A. Usually people I talk to, I'm not giving A's because I think when I'm taking notes here, it's perfect. You're building community. You're relatively young. You're figuring out exactly what you need to work on. All those things are really good. How do I beat you?
You beat us by grinding it out in the half-court offense.
And making you play defense.
So making us play defense, you do two things right now. You beat us by making us play defense, and by right now. And I think that we've got, if we have a good summer, we'll be able to eliminate this one. If you can shut down our best player, we will struggle to generate offense because he spreads that floor. So like my shooters are, and he can get the ball to them, and they can hit it when it gets.
You're the Bucks.
Yes, yeah.
I
We are.
swear to God, you should be watching the NBA playoffs. You're the Bucks.
Well, so I actually recorded their games because I record everything anyways, and then delete it if I don't want to watch it. It's funny you said that because I was watching last night and I was like, well, this reminds me of John and a couple of our kids that can shoot. So I was actually going to show our guys some of these things. So I was listening to one of the things you said about showing them NBA stuff and
Yep.
I never thought of that concept.
Yeah. I'll send you. There's a good. I just found a good. Let's see if I can do it on my computer here when I look. There's a good app. I'm a Mac guy, but and it's a Windows thing, but you can get the. It's called what is it called? Where is it? I will find it. It's the kind of thing that does the highlights, when it puts like the zoom thing on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And it's really cool. Like you can highlight the kid. I will find it and send you. I want to say it's like Kid Pick or Kid. Of course, when I'm looking for it right now, I can't find it. Hold on, maybe it's over in this other folder. I have bookmark issues. I have like 65 bookmarks open. I will find it to you, and then I'll send that to you this afternoon when I'm grading papers and I remember what it is. But anyway, it's one of those things that will highlight, like it will show the kid, it will show this, like put the dome on them and show them, and then you got to go in and kind of highlight it on them. And that will help as far as highlighting. But what I would say is, like, the Bucks do a really good job of getting out and getting those quick threes too.
Yeah.
I think that's something you should work on in your open window, as far as trying to get, how can you get, because he can get it back then. It's kind of my theory. You want to get it up, you want to pass it up, you don't necessarily want to pass it up. And then yeah, I think that would be a really good way of getting easy looks, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because and again, like you have to plan to win now, but try to, like, I had at one point I didn't start any seniors because of injury or suspension and
right
things. So I've got 5 kids that play pretty major minutes. 4 of the 5 can really, like, basketball is their thing.
Okay.
So we really worked a lot on some of that, which is good because we didn't have the shooters doing that then. So what's nice also with this group coming up, there's a point guard that Jalen really likes playing with, that they can play off of each other a little bit. And Nick, so the other kid he doesn't even care about scoring. He just wants to win. Like,
right.
He's my pit bull.
Right.
He's a soccer player and got in a fight at midfield his first game ever in varsity last year because his brother got decked. So, like, he's my pit bull. He'll just
okay. You need a couple of those, actually. Those are good things to have.
Yeah. So, no, I didn't think of working on that note.
And the thing is, I met with my coaches. We had open gym today, so I was meeting with a couple of my coaches, and we're talking about how we're going to push the ball and do some things. And I think pushing 2 up. I think pushing if you watch the Bucks, it's 5 on the outside, but the first 2 go to the corners, and then the next 2 fill the next 2 spots. So if the ball goes to that corner, then they have options of driving and then kicking and kind of like banana cutting or coming behind or cutting to the basket. It leaves that space open. So if your kids are, that's where you got to sell it, like, because he'll be able to get the ball back. If he 1-2 dribbles, pops it up, you're going to get some. And to be honest with you, the team you're describing to me probably has to take 25, 33s a game.
Yeah. So
in transition, like if you're open, and there's no closeout and the hands are down, hands down, man down, shoot it, because we're going to crash.
So we did a spring season. We call it AAU, but it's not AAU. Kids that paid a small fee. My JV coach, who's young, wanted to run some things. So we talked about some of the absolutes he's got to do, because I'm trying to give them a break from my voice as well.
Yep.
And so I come around so I can watch, but I do very little. I'm more or less, I sit in the corner and do stuff on my computer or whatever. And at the beginning, he put some gimme tournaments in there, which is what we desperately needed. And this last weekend we played was a higher end one, not unreasonable for us to play in, but we were going to be the middle of the pack, which is kind of what I was fine with. And it worked perfectly that we shot ball very little from outside and we're not successful. Because I was saying to them, we want to get to the rim. Yes, we know we want to shoot layups, so we want to get stuff like that way. But we've got 3 guys, and then with Jalen 4, who played one game with us, played other ones that didn't. We got 4 guys that can shoot the ball from the outside. There's 3 of you that I'll take you out because of shots you don't take as opposed to shots
right
that you do take. With it,
and they have to understand that you're going to hit 1 or 2 of those, and then they're going to come out on you.
Yeah.
And then that's where the shot fake or the drive, and that's when you're going to be able to get to the rim. So they have to hit those to open up other. I mean, again, it's the Bucks. I hate that, but it's.
I'm cool with that because they're smacking people around.
Right.
So when you said that when they go, because that's what I teach them going hard to the corners.
Yep.
Almost to the point where they're almost out of bounds, so they can step into it for the shot. And
yep.
They're not out. So one of the things that helps is I don't know where I saw this, but the contention of the coach was that they're that deep. They can step into it because I teach a 1-2 shot, 1-2 step.
Yep.
One to be quick, and then honestly, we got some of the teams we play. They forget they're even there because it's almost like they're small courts in some places. It's almost like they're in the scenery.
Right.
But then the other 2 guys, do they fill the wing spots?
I do. I haven't filled the wings. I haven't, and it's okay if there's 2 guys in the same side as the ball. So the ball might be down in that corner. Then they're going to have to. Hold on. Let's see if I can show it. Where's my? I got to get you off of this. Where's share? Here it is. So, all right, we're gonna leave right, even though I don't like it. So you're saying this guy is gonna be literally like right here.
Yeah.
So we say no more than 2 dribbles from the point guard, and the ball's got to be up.
Yep.
So we designate. So let's say the ball goes up. We designate that he's gonna catch it in here. Wherever he's going to catch it, the point guard is always the guy catching it. The other 4 spots, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then he can fill over here after he passes it. But then he catches that ball in that window. It's 2 dribbles and it's out of his hands.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't allow people to pressure us and allows us to get it up. And then the next man down fills ball side. So if he's doing this, we don't do this cut that a lot of people do. We do this cut to the same side.
Yeah.
Because then what are you going to do if you're defensively? You're going to come out here and probably close out. Well, he's going to have options. He can drive. He can do all sorts of stuff. And then a lot of times the guy that's defending him will go down and try to help. Then it'll be kick. Maybe there's no one here, and it's the guy defending the guy that's cutting to that spot. Well, he's going to run down, and then it's kick. It's that one extra pass.
Yeah.
And then we basically say we fill our 5 spots. We stay wide. We used to try to run a secondary where, so the 5 spots, having somebody cut into the paint. But we want the paint to go, because once we hit a couple of these threes, they're going to swarm out on us.
Yeah.
And then it's, okay, well, you're going to take my 3 away, then I'm going to go. And then, everyone's going to be yelling about protecting the paint. I want this space open for them to be able to drive.
No, that's perfect. I didn't think of it because I always put the guy to the block, and you're right. I never get anything in there. Maybe once.
It's one of those things I used to do. We all learned it when we were growing up. Secondary break. But it doesn't work because you don't score on it.
So I'm gonna implement read and react offense.
Okay.
I watched some of the stuff on TeachHoops and
Yep.
read a lot about it. I haven't watched all of his videos because honestly, he confuses the hell out of me.
Oh, there's 2. I've had Rick on my podcast. I love Rick. He is an innovator. They'll be talking about him hundreds of years from now. Swear to God. But I tease him about it. You got too many layers. My guys can handle like 3,
I'm a fairly intelligent person. Like my assistant coach at the times told me I have to nobody's following me, and I can't follow that guy.
Right.
Remember. So that's perfect because so you not run so you don't really run a secondary because that's where I'm stuck right now. So I'm
I
thinking,
don't. We do a couple things. First of all, and we did a little bit last year, but I lost my point guard. I've got some young point guards, but they're not really ready. So whenever I've never had a point guard, quote unquote, like the guy, then I've always tried to push the ball and just stay wide because it takes care of pressure then. And obviously we're gonna have to dribble it up at times.
right, right.
But whatever, we can always find a mismatch. There's always somebody on the court that's not as good a defender to bring the ball up if we have to bring it up. But I'm just looking for easy shots, and I'm looking for them to not be able to turn us over and pressure our point.
Right. You don't have a shot clock. I think
We don't.
You're against it, right?
I'm against it because it's fun, because I love stirring the pot. I don't really care, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm against it in the sense that I think the high school game is unique. That's why I'm against it. Whatever. I mean,
well, we don't have either, and honestly, it would just change how everything is. It just would.
it would, yeah.
So because if we don't get it on a quick break, I'm slowing us down just because we needed to do that.
Right. And I was talking to a D1 coach the other day about one of my guys, and they're moving the college game back to the international.
Yeah.
So the game's going to change even more. Now they're going to move that back another foot and a half. The game's going to be crazy different. Yeah.
So I know I'm running low.
No, that's all right. No worries.
Because so we're gonna kind of do, I don't want to call it a watered down version, but a simpler version of read and react. So I found on the Facebook page the rules.
Yep.
I'm gonna steal that.
Okay.
My guys. So really, the three big things that I'm looking over the rest of the spring into summer of working on, so that it becomes that habit. So I lose guys like everybody else to soccer and football once the fall hits, and they need to go and do that.
Yep.
Be a high school kid.
Yep.
So the back, like really the 5-spot spacing, because I really don't have a true big.
Yep.
So then I'm really working on the habits of backdoor cut, the pass cut through, and then the slip cut. The slips, so you screen. So other than that, you wouldn't do any more.
Nope.
We can master. I thought.
Well, you're gonna have to teach filling the spots and those kind of things.
Right.
But I would. We were. This is funny because I was talking to my coaches this morning. It's 3. Like we were talking about our team that's coming back next year. They can remember 3 things. If you can't get it down to 3 things, they're not going to remember it. So, filling the 5 spots is not really one, because that's just whatever. This is where you go. Pick 3 things and then figure out how you want to drill those 3 things. And yes, because they'll do 2 of them really well. They'll forget about the 3rd one. And you probably heard me on my podcast. I make them, especially when we're teaching it, I make them yell what they're doing.
Yeah.
So if they're slipping, because they'll know if they yell slip 3 straight times that they're doing it wrong.
Right.
Like in their head, slips. Oh, shoot, I got to do something else.
And what's nice is with the shooters, the slip isn't like just, I did those the other night. And honestly, knowing I'm not going to do them all 3 every night, I try to do 2 of 3 because then it gets confusing. So I did all 3 just so we could go through it. And I wanted to show my coaches, if I'm not present, this is what I want. This is what I mean.
Yep.
And so my shooters understand the slip cut because they want to slip for the 3 and slip out as opposed to going to the basket, which is still fine because if they fade the corner.
Yep.
And we can throw that pass. That's great. Okay. No, that.
Yeah, and then in the way I've progressed with this at times too, especially in the summer, is I'll work on just slips, and I'll spend 5 minutes on just slips. That's all they can do is slip. And then the next time I'll do, a screen away, whatever 3 you decide are important, and that's all I'll work on in 5 minutes. And then I come back and do 2 of them, like combos of 2, and then I'll do all 3. So I really try to break it into pieces just so they can see the differences. And then if you can tape your practice, once you do it, you'll notice that some kids do the same thing. Like I had a kid on my team this year. He did the same thing every time. Swear to God. Like he just cut to the basket. He passed and just cut to the basket every time. So we had to have a coach be in charge of him and say, okay, every other time you're going to do this other thing. just so you're not predictable. Because that's the problem, is they become predictable and then they're easy to defend.
Right. So then, how do you? I know you asked this on one of the Read and React podcasts. I don't remember what the answer was. So what do you personally do when you have a kid that passes and cuts every time, or passes and screens away every time? I'm putting in the framework of, if you're at this spot, don't cut through unless you're overplayed, and that's the whole obligatory things. But other than assigning a coach to Andy, because all he does is cut through.
Yep.
How do you
You got to tape him. You got to show it to him, because he probably doesn't know he's doing it.
Yeah. So that comes into that, tape your practice, see what you do.
He's just playing at this point. Like he's like driving home from work. Like I could drive home from work in my sleep, right? Because we all know the route. That's what he's doing. He's just not even thinking. And it's like, well, we need you to start thinking a little bit. Like, it's better to play the game and not be thinking too much. I agree, but he's not thinking at all. Like, he's just cutting. And my 87-year-old grandma can guard him if he does that. So that's where you got to show it to him. And then whoever's defending him, I've done this too. I've had like one of my guys that really gets the game defend him, and then say, hey, don't cut. So then he'll tell him what to do.
Yeah, I never thought of that, because the other value that I'm hoping plays the way I think it will. So it means it won't, but I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of kids that are practice kids, and they know it. Like, they just like being around it, and they're not hurting us.
Right.
By me keeping them around. So I've got two seniors that love basketball, but that God did not bless them with ability.
Right.
They're enough. On a bad team, they would play.
Right.
2 years ago, they would have played for us.
Right.
And one of them said to me this spring, he's like, Coach, I respect whatever you want to do with cuts. I'm going to work my ass off to make the team. But I just want you to know, I know what my role is.
Right.
And I said to him, I said all the
right
coach things.
Right.
But so if that works to fruition and all that stuff, like, I think he's somebody I can put on and say, here's your job.
Right.
Make him better.
Right.
So that's a good idea. I didn't think of that.
Right. And that kid probably won't play a lot, but if it is a kid that plays a lot, it's actually making them think the game more too.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So it's that teaching 101 thing. You just want to give them different avenues. And then the third thing I've done with a kid, so, we all go through different things. This didn't work, this didn't work. The other thing I've done is I've actually had that kind of kid, I've given them a blank offense and say, okay, I want you to, when you're in study hall or you're in English class and you're bored, I want you to draw out different cuts that you can do. So he's he's seeing it, he's doing it, he's writing it. You want all of them, because one of them might click. Now, he might be a kid that none of them clicks, and then you got the bigger issues. But I've had kids that can't do it on the court, and they can diagram it up on a piece of paper in 2 seconds,
Yeah.
But, you're just trying to find something that hopefully it will correlate.
Yeah, no, I didn't think of that, because even then, like, so especially with Jalen, he's another kid that you're saying that wants to play and doing that. I can put him on.
Yeah, you put him on it. Well, it's going to make him a better player. And with him, here's the selling point with him, and this is what I've said to my kids, is leaders don't only worry about themselves, they worry about everybody else. The general's worried about his corporals and his sergeants and his defenses. He's worried about everybody. So you're a great player, but let's make you a great leader. And a leader deals with all these things. And let's help him, because if he's better, then we're better, and you're better, and everybody's better.
Yeah.
So that's where you got to feed that monster a little bit. And if you do that, it's like, hey, he's cutting every time. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
It'll make him a better player too. You're not only using him, it's helping him.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really good. Well, other than Read and React being good, one of the reasons, like, so we don't typically have premier players come through Susky yet.
Right.
Yet, because I keep saying we're gonna cultivate that, and that's what's gonna.
Right. Yeah.
And so, this season, our offense would get stale, because it would become, let's watch Jalen. and you know, that's what kept us in games at times. But when we really started, I flipped it on all of them eventually, because the teacher in me was tired of telling them what to do, and then they wouldn't do it because they didn't understand. So that was a reflective moment of myself.
They
So
stand. So that's the issue too, is you don't want them standing. That's why the read and react will be good, because if they're standing, they're easy to defend, and they're watching him. You know, you should be going. If he's got the ball and he's doing something, you should be doing something else to get someone else open or yourself open. Especially if he's a good passer, and then if this youngster's a good passer, it's like if they have the ball, great, because they're going to find you if you're open. Go set a back screen. Go do this. Go do this. So you just got to give them options. Not too many, but some options.
right, no, right. So then so this kind of pivots into, you said about video. So one of the things that my two guys that were premier scorers returned, they naturally watched video very well. Like, they understood, and they would have dialogue with me. We
Yep.
watched video as a team. We did that. So, but I know it wasn't as effective as it could be. So how do you structure your video sessions, or how does that look for you guys during the season? Because we need to do something different.
Yep. And I've thought about this. I'm gonna videotape them this year, actually, because I've had a bunch of coaches ask me this. But I'll do it a couple ways. They're much shorter than they used to be. It's the Snapchat world we live in. So there's two different layers. There's the team layer, there's the prep layer, there's the learn layer, and there's the individual layer. So the prep layer is we're getting ready to play Team X. We're going to watch some film. We're going to look at their personnel. It might be us or it might not be us. Usually I try to make sure it's not us that they're playing, so we're not watching ourselves, we're watching them, because they get very egocentric and they want to watch themselves. So that's the first type. The second type is watching our tape to and again, 10 to 15 minutes max. What are we doing well? What are we not doing well? And there's exceptions to all of this, you know, like I'm pissed and we'll go watch an hour worth of film because we just lost. But for the most part, it's prep, it's learn, and then it's the individual sessions, which are harder for coaches, but I've done that more and more, where, hey, come up at lunch today, bring your lunch, and we're going to watch 10 minutes of the game. Yeah. And then I'll have clips ready, or I'll have like a stretch where then it's just him and I, or maybe the guards and me, or the bigs and me. And it's like, hey, look, we're not rebounding. Look at this. This needs to get better. Blah, 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 blah. And I'll spend 15, 20 minutes. We'll eat lunch, and then we'll just BS after that. So that's how I kind of break my film up. Obviously, tournament time and some other things will, you know, I'll have assistant coaches ahead of me. And to be honest with you, I don't do a lot of the prep anymore. I'm old. I've got assistants that do the prep. And basically, we kind of run it like a college program. So they do the scouts, they do the prep, they do the film, and then they hand something to me and say, here's what we're going to do. And then I just go. It's like, you know, I've taught long enough or coached long enough. I can do that. I just jump in. And so I've taken that college kind of thing where, you know, I've got coaches kind of doing this ahead of us, you know, and getting ready for tournament. Right. And again, you know, it depends if it's us, if it's prep, or if it's the individual one.
That's so I still do a lot of the prep. I mean, I'm a young guy.
Well, I get you.
So, and not that I don't. In my utopian world, I would have coaches would do this. I'm a delegator kind of leader. I think that's important because everybody's bought in.
Yep.
But so I had my head assistant. He did what would be categorized here as our learn. He did the breakdown tape of us.
Okay, good.
And that was a good thing for Frank to do because he's new to the area. He's trying to find his way.
Right.
And because like I had to put a staff together the day before the season started.
No, and the thing is, it's a great learning tool for him. Like, he's going to learn so much by watching that tape. You know, I don't need to watch any more tape. Like, I've watched, like, half of my life has been watching tape with the old VCR tape. I mean, trust me, I don't need to watch more tape. So
I mean, we watch ourselves, which I still do, but I don't do it as intensely as I did my first year.
Right.
I was getting mad. I'd learn from it, but like, I would get mad, and then I'd watch scout tape, and then get mad about that, and like it became a bad cycle.
Well, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's like watching tape from the summer. It's like it just frustrates you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
So,
the individual one's the newest one for me. I've always done the other two. They tended to be longer. That individual one, see, just you gotta adjust as coach. I don't coach the same way I did 30 years ago, so you got to kind of adjust a little bit. So that's the gig. That's where I'm kind of doing that with that individual group, small group thing. I think it really helps, and you don't really have to prep much for that. Oh God, we should watch the second half or beginning of the first half or whatever it is.
right. Because the first year I had kids do reflections, and that became like bringing your dad to the party.
Right.
Almost. And I was excited. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do all these different things, and then realize I got to keep it simple.
Yeah, and that's simple. They're eating lunch. It's not, I'll bring them dessert or something or whatever, but it's like it's not threatening. It's a small group, And if it's really needs to be a come to Jesus meeting, then it's just me and the kid. Like,
Right.
because I don't want to embarrass them, but I'll call them out if it's just them and me in the room.
Right.
This is horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
which is nice to have a fair amount of kids back, and then even the younger kids moving up. I've kept my hand in as much youth stuff as I can without overbearing.
Yep.
So I can build a relationship with kids.
Right.
We're not a huge. We're small enough that I can do that, and we've got enough momentum started of kids wanting to do things. So.
And do you do that? Do you have your high school kids go and do like little mini clinics and stuff during the season and stuff?
So we're only able to do one during the season. Now we did stuff going into the season, so we did a 5-part clinic in the fall.
Okay.
And that was really good. That was better. I need to manage our season better, and I will after reflecting on it. So I think we're gonna do like a three-part, because we've got a little bit of time with how we manage our schedule. That I'm coming to the around to more time is not better time on the court. So going doing that and then doing the team building stuff, I think is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do 3 this year. So and we have our kids. So we have travel teams, and then we have intramural, and then a youth for our 2 through 6.
Okay.
So
okay.
A and B at the various levels are your teams, and then you have the in-house stuff, and that's much more instructional.
Right.
And so our coordinator didn't want to spend money on refs, so we pay our kids to do it.
Yeah, just make it fun, shots up, all that kind of stuff until they're in 5th or 6th grade. Fun. Yeah.
That's what I said to our guys. And when I'm gonna do, I don't know, I assumed it was one of the videos I watched on TeachHoops that your JV coach was working with the youth coaches.
Yeah, he came in. He was basically running a clinic.
That's it. So I've got on-court clinic. So I think I'm going to do a 2-part gig of that, because I instill like what our core values are.
Right.
Things that I want them to, that are absolutes, like the man defense.
Mm-hmm.
I know you see us run zone up when you have the kids come. I hear that, but you doing that was going to help us do this.
Right, and you don't need the 3rd grader taking 25 shots from 3.
Well,
it's
actually,
like that's.
So I don't know if it was on podcast I heard, made me feel good, because I told them I don't want a lot of outside shots.
Right.
Like, you don't shoot, like, let the kids have fun, do that. But I said
No, it's a similar triangle thing. The 10-year-old shooting a 3 is like shooting us shooting it on a 15-foot. It's silly. My son's a prime example. I swear to God, he can shoot the ball like no freaking tomorrow. But I didn't let him shoot his 3 until he was in like 7th or 8th grade.
Oh, really?
He wasn't strong enough. It would have been like this,
Right. Right. And then they get their elbow out.
Yeah, it's just bad.
Like when they get older.
It is. All right. I gotta go, Coach. I got one at 2. Let me know if you have any more questions. We can get on another one. No problem.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's very helpful. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Hey, Coach. So glad you enjoyed that video. Let me know how I can help. Click up above or down below. Find out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. There's a 14-day free trial as we speak. Not sure how long that will last. One-stop shopping for basketball coaches. So go over and check it out. I've been there. I know what you're going through. Won lots of championships. Won lots of rings. Let me know how I can help you become a better basketball coach.